Good evening. My name is Josh Cleveland. I'm the recruiter on campus. I work in admissions, and so I got a chance to give many of you tours, and this is my favorite day of the entire academic year, because this is the culmination of why you showed up in snowstorms and when you had flat tires and when the kids were sick. We are all so proud of you. I've been asked to pray a prayer of blessing, and so I'd invite everyone to join me in a spirit of prayer, asking for the very best for our graduates. The path that you have in front of you will no doubt take some twists and turns. There will be more flat tires. The kids will continue to get sick. But we're going to say, Lord, would you bless these graduates? Would you honor the work that they have put in to get to this milestone? And would it be a stepping stone so that they can go further in the days to come? Give their hearts that joy that only you can give. Allow them to be great forgivers. Allow them to be so generous. Allow them to have a vision for their lives that goes beyond what they can even imagine today. Thank you that tomorrow is a new day with new possibilities, and so we just release that blessing on this graduate body and on our whole community. In Jesus' name, amen.
Uju Gakanawia Stephanie Ni Nadijnakaz, Nagachwingang, Ishkonagading, Edonjaba. Nawida Kaz, Jagana Windamag, O Gabe Gikandasa Wigamig. Sorry. Minawa, Jajana Winamagwa, Gakana Awia Oma. Hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I am from the Fond du Lac Reservation. I help take care of this college and help take care of everyone here. Thank you to Rox and Josh for the special opening words. I would like to welcome everyone to tonight's graduation ceremony for the class of 2022. It feels so good to be back in this space, celebrating with each of you after 2 long years. So give yourself a round of applause. To tonight's graduates, congratulations. You survived 2 very out-of-the-ordinary years, but are now seated in front of us, and in a very short time will walk across the stage to the applause of your family, friends, and those special to you. Your path to get here may be different from the person sitting next to you, but no less important. It is your story to tell. Be sure to take a moment in this exciting time to reflect on and appreciate your hard work, what it took to get here, the help you may have received along the way, and the gifts you have amassed during your time at Fond du Lac. One of our visiting authors to campus this last fall, Robin Wall Kimmerer, mentioned being educated means you know your own gifts and how to give them to the world. We hope you walk away knowing your gifts and the importance of sharing them with others you cross paths with along your journey, and to perhaps help them along their way by paying it forward. Know that as you prepare to leave the beauty of this campus community, that you have also enriched our lives. You may not realize it, but we learn just as much from you as you learn from us, and a piece of you will always remain in our hearts. In closing, here are a few lines from one of our speakers from earlier this fall, U.S. Poet Laureate Joy Harjo's poem, who also visited. Remember the wind, remember her voice. She knows the origin of this universe. Remember you are the universe, and this universe is you. Remember all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember language comes from this. Remember the dance language is, that life is. Remember. Thank you. Miigwech. I'm now honored to introduce our next two guests who will offer a few words to the graduates. First, Tribal College Board of Directors Chair Vern Zacher will speak, and then Trustee Rudy Rodriguez will share a few words on behalf of the Minnesota State Board of Trustees. Vern?
On behalf of the Fond du Lac Tribal College Board of Directors and our neighboring Fond du Lac tribal community, I want to welcome you all here for this special occasion. You've got to really be a strong group of students. This last 2 years was very unique and new to all of us, and you got to be a really strong and resilient group of students to navigate through that and to be here tonight. And also to our faculty, the same. You've had to go through a lot of special challenges that are relatively new to all of us, and you all hung in there really good in serving our student body, and this is the kind of success that we have tonight. And I also want to thank the families and community members for supporting the students to get them here to this special occasion. It's always hard to do it by yourself. You need a lot of support, to do that. I know I've done some of it myself over the years. But stay true to yourself, be kind to others. Relationships are really important. Even when you don't agree on things or get along, you got to always show respect because relationships are really important. And I want to thank you all for coming here tonight. I'm going to try to keep my remarks kind of short. Thanks again. Miigwech.
Good evening, everyone. I'm honored and humbled to be here in front of you today. My name is Rudy Rodriguez, and I'm a trustee for the Minnesota State Board of Trustees. And on behalf of my fellow trustees, I offer our warmest congratulations to all of you who are graduating from Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College. We know that to get to this day, you have to juggle work, family, and community responsibilities while pursuing your studies, and you did all of this successfully and through a pandemic. We are so proud of your dedication and perseverance. We are confident the education you received has equipped you well to be leaders in both your careers and your community, and truly believe that each of you represents hope for a bright and bold future, for your families, for your community, for Minnesota, and for our world. Minnesota State is a network of vibrant colleges and universities committed to being a place of hope and opportunity for our students, no matter where they are or where they come from. Each of our colleges and universities contribute to an engaged, equitable, and productive society and serve as catalysts because we believe in the power of public higher education and to change lives. Today, we celebrate because we believe that the outstanding, accessible, affordable, and relevant education that our colleges and universities have provided to you and to the thousands of others has never been more important. As you move to the next stage of your life's journey, please know that just because you are graduating, you will never lose your connection to Fond du Lac. You will carry the mission of this institution with you no matter where you go, whether it's down the street, to another state, or across an ocean. So Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College class of 2022, on behalf of all the people who applaud your achievements, please accept my heartfelt congratulations on this important milestone in your lives. Thank you.
Dr. Thomas Peacock is our graduation keynote speaker this evening. He is the author of a dozen books on Ojibwe history and culture, Native education, racism, and fiction works that have garnered numerous awards, including 2 Minnesota Book Awards. He has his education doctorate in educational leadership from Harvard University and is a member of the Fond du Lac Band of Lake Superior, Chippewa. He is also co-publisher and owner of Black Bears and Blueberries Publishing Company, specializing in Indigenous children's books. Please help me welcome Dr. Thomas Peacock to say a few words.
Don't worry, I'm going to keep it short. Anini jibe marazig, many do know the Indigenous cause, Tom Peacock, the Indigenous cause, Jaganashamong, Indun Jaba, Nagajawanang, Noon Goom, Onagimasing Minawa, Misquabican, and Wakan Dudem, Nimanoyage, Nimoenda Mamaya, Noon Goom. So tonight I wanted to say a couple of words about fate, luck, timing, divine intervention, and filling out forms. Filling out forms is kind of my way of saying doing things purposefully. And because some of us are here tonight because we filled out forms, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit about that tonight. So 55 years ago, which is probably twice the age of some of you graduates, I was asked to, and I can't remember who in the world asked, I used to hang out at the Tribal Center as a kid, asked if I wanted to attend Minnesota Outward Bound, the wilderness school located up near Ely, Minnesota. And I think I was in the 10th grade. And like I say, I can't remember who asked if I was interested in going. I think the Cloquet Kiwanis Club was sponsoring a couple of Native students at the time to go. And I said, sure, why not? Because I didn't have anything to do. It was summertime. And so I filled out the form, right? And I got in and I went. And I have to say that, you know, being able to attend that particular school that summer made a real turning point in my life. And I can't really explain it. But I think being set out on an island out in the middle of nowhere for 4 days allowed me some good time to think and to make some decisions about what I wanted to do with my life. But it made me also think when I prepared my little talk tonight about, well, what if I had said, no, I'm not interested? What if I hadn't filled out the form? Or what if I hadn't been selected? What if they would have chosen someone else to go? And then what would have happened? And you can think the same thing about your own life, you know, if you think about it. You know, what if you had made some other decision to do something else? Because life is kind of works that way. You head down a path, and then all of a sudden there are many, many different directions that are offered to you. And sometimes you just say, well, I'm going to go this way. Sometimes you don't even think about it, and it affects your entire life, you know. But every once in a while, you make a very purposeful decision. You fill out the forms. And then the other thing I was thinking about was that the same thing, 55 years ago, somebody asked if I wanted to attend something called Indian Circle. Indian Circle was a program where they brought in Native students from all over the country. There were about 150 of us. And we got to attend a 5-week summer camp. And it was an amazing program for me because it allowed me to learn all kinds of things about tribal groups from all over the country and to meet people from all over the country. And so that had the same impact on me. So during one summer when I was in, I can't remember, the 10th or the 11th grade, I got to go to Minnesota Outward Bound, and I got to go to this thing called Indian Circle, which incidentally I was almost sent home from for doing certain things I shouldn't have been doing. 53 years ago, I walked by on this very street, took 14th Street. I walked, my family, we were living on the compound. If you're from Fond du Lac, you know where the compound is. It's the housing project just west on Big Lake Road. We were living on a compound, and I walked to Carleton because I didn't have a ride, and I didn't have school clothes. And it was graduation day the next day, and I didn't have any dress-up clothes. So of course now I can go to JCPenney and get a sport coat, but back then the county welfare department was located in Carleton, and I had gotten, I think, a $50 clothing order to get some dress-up clothes so I could do graduation, and I needed a ride there, but I didn't have a ride, so I walked. So compound, I took this road. And I made it into Carleton, got my little $50 clothing order, and I walked back on Highway 45. Well, the Quick Trip in Scanlon didn't exist at that time, of course. But as I was walking by where that is today, a sheriff's squad car pulled up as I was walking along, and the passenger window rolled down, and a deputy leaned over, and I looked at him and I said, what's the matter? Am I walking too fast? And he said, hey, Ock, you want to ride? And Ock, of course, is my res name. Everybody on the res has a nickname, and my nickname is Ock. And I said, sure. And so I got a ride home. I didn't have to walk, all the way back to the compound from there. And I think about that, that somebody would be kind enough to stop and offer me a ride. Of course, knew me by my first name. I don't know why. But it made me think about that particular deputy sheriff, actually, because, what if he had decided to stay in law enforcement his entire life? What if he had decided that that was his calling? Because some of you are graduating tonight with that law enforcement degree, right? You made that decision. Well, this particular person had decided that law enforcement was an area where he was going to go. But what if he decided that that's what he was going to do? And so 50 some odd years later, he had spent his entire life doing that. Well, somewhere along the way, he made other decisions, and he decided that maybe he was going to be a writer and a playwright and an actor. And his name, if you've, I imagine some of you have read some of his books, is Jim Northrup, the author, very well known all over the country as a native author. But then just a young deputy sheriff for Carleton County. That's why he called me Ock, because everybody on the res knows that name. Let's skip over a few years. 37 years ago, I was the principal at some nothing school in nothing northern Minnesota somewhere. And I think one of your deans here was a student at the time. Yeah, go Panthers. And the place was driving me crazy. It really was. The place was driving me crazy. The students were driving me crazy. The teachers were getting on my nerves. The school board was, I had it with them. And I needed to go do something else. And I thought, well, what am I going to do? I can't go off and be a principal somewhere else because I was getting burned out. And so I decided to go to school. And so I applied for a fellowship to go to school. And I applied to 2 schools, one in California and one out on the East Coast. And I was accepted into both. And then I was very fortunate enough to get that fellowship. But I think back on that, and what if I wouldn't have gotten that fellowship? Because, that happens, right? We apply for scholarships, and very often we don't get it. What if I would have been rejected in either of those schools? My preference was to go to school in California. Well, what if I had decided to go to California? Then what would have happened in my life? Would I still be in California? Would I still be living in San Francisco somewhere? Just like our ancestors did when they went on relocation. So we make these decisions, and you make those same kind of decisions. You sort of are traveling through life, and then all of a sudden there are 20 roads, and they lead off in all these different directions, and you just randomly decide to take one, So I was accepted, and I went out there, and I went to school, and while I was there, I was offered a job as a program manager in Washington, D.C., okay, because I had a job as a research assistant at MIT, right? And that was my school job. I did that about 20 hours a week, right? And when I was done with school, they said, how'd you like to, we're moving to DC, how'd you like to move to DC with us? And I said, no, I think I'm gonna go home for the summer. I didn't really think about it too much. But what if I would have made that decision to do that? Because we do things like that, right? Your ego gets you into trouble, right? And you thought, wow, these people offer me this really important job, and I get to move to Washington, D.C., and I get to be a program manager and all this kind of stuff, right? And so I did. But I didn't do that. I came back home. And I came back home, and I became another high school principal again. And that place drove me crazy, too, eventually. 24 years ago, I decided I wanted to write books. And so I started writing, and I started sending things in. And I have a stack of rejection letters about this high that I keep. My writing has been rejected many, many times, and every once in a while I'll get an acceptance thing. And that's kind of how things work like that. But I felt that I had something important to say, and in that I'd like to get that out there. And so so maybe I'm foolish, or maybe I have some tenacity. I don't know. But I think that we all go through this, right? We have to be able to deal with rejection. But we also have to think that maybe what we have to say, or maybe what we have to do with our lives, is important. And so we stick with it like that. 4 years ago, you can see I'm getting near the end, right? 4 years ago, I talked my wife into starting a nonprofit publishing company, Blackberries and Blueberries Publishing, and publishing primarily Native children's books. And I told her that we were going to work our asses off, and we weren't going to make any money. And that's exactly what we've done. We've published, I think, 26 books to date. Our books it has grown far beyond our wildest expectations. Our books are sold all over the United States and Canada and in Europe. They're all on Amazon, of course. And all our authors get nice fat royalty checks. And we don't know what to do because we thought we were retiring, and we can't find anybody who will take it over. So maybe there's somebody here in this graduating class who's young and foolish and wants to work your asses off and become a publisher. See me after this presentation. So you're graduating tonight, and I noticed that you have, what is it, 120-some graduates, 165 different degrees, all different kinds of areas, Anishinaabe language, chemical dependency, law enforcement, early childhood, the liberal arts and sciences, human services, early childhood, criminal justice, law enforcement, nursing, blah, 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 Anishinaabe and American elementary education, that you students here are from Minnesota, Wisconsin, South Dakota, Florida, looks like Arizona, or is it Arkansas? I can't tell. Maybe Arizona. That there are different tribal groups represented, Fond du Lac, Mille Lacs, Red Cliff, Cheyenne River, White Earth, Lac du Flambeau, Red Lake. But I also noticed that the Italian, Irish, Swedish, Norwegian, German tribes are also well represented here as well. So maybe fate brought you here. You know, maybe fate brought you here tonight. Maybe for some of you it is luck. Maybe luck brought you here. Maybe it was circumstances. You know, maybe you decided to come to school because, you know, your best friend said, hey, let's do this school thing. You know, it's only a 20-mile drive, right, from Cromwell or wherever. Maybe for some of you it was divine intervention, you know, because there are always some of us who give our lives to our God, right? And say, you know, God, whatever you decide, I'll do whatever. You know, and something that's how some of us walk through life, right? Maybe you were at a certain place at a certain time where somebody helped you fill out the forms, you know, maybe helped you make that decision. I want to say, though, that, you know, the only thing that we have control of in the direction that our lives take is in making purposeful decisions, in filling out the forms. You know, we have control of that. One of my favorite writers is Karl Zukav. Karl Zukav is the author of The Seat of the Soul. And Zukav said that if we choose unconsciously, we evolve unconsciously. If we choose consciously, we evolve consciously. Choosing consciously allows us to have a big say in the directions our lives take, on the many paths ahead of us, each heading off in every direction. I hope that you choose to live consciously, that you fill out the forms. Thank you very much.
Bonjour, everyone. My name is Anita Hanson, and I am the Dean of Student Services here at the college. It is my pleasure to introduce our first student speaker, Sarah Durfee. Sarah is a 2020 graduate of Cloquet High School who started our nursing program at the beginning of the pandemic. She graduates tonight with her Associate of Science degree in nursing with an immediate goal to work as an oncology nurse. Eventually, Sarah wants to further her education with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing with plans to become a nurse practitioner. Yesterday at the college's annual graduate awards ceremony, Sarah earned a Service to the College Award, which is based on students' outstanding leadership on campus, participation on campus committees, or outstanding club participation. Sarah tells me that prior to focusing on her last semester of nurse training, she worked at Solvay Hospice for almost 2 years. She chose Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College because of how friendly the environment is and because her mother and sister graduated from our nursing program. Sarah's grandfather also earned a law enforcement degree from the college a number of years ago. Dean of Nursing and Health Sciences Andrea Simic shared this about Sarah. Throughout the nursing program, Sarah has worked hard while always keeping a smile on her face. Her care and compassion has shown through during her clinical rotations. Sarah has a bright future as a nurse, and we are proud to say she is one of ours. A couple other fun facts about Sarah: her hobbies are volunteering, which she's done at Bentleyville, Lasagna Love, and smaller community events. She also enjoys painting and rollerblading. Everyone, please help me welcome Sarah Durfee to the stage.
Don't worry, I'll keep this short and sweet too. Okay. Challenges are what make life interesting, and overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. I chose this quote by Joshua Marine because, at one point or another, many of us have faced hardships that eventually led to success. One of the biggest challenges many of us nursing majors, including myself, is anatomy and physiology. But first, I would like to give a special thanks to Andy Wold, who is a passionate instructor in biology at the college. I want to thank him for not letting me give up on my dreams to pursue my journey to become a nurse. Anatomy is a challenging course, and I felt defeated by my exam scores, and I started telling myself that this was my sign that nursing was not meant for me. One day after receiving another disappointing score, I went straight to the advisor's office at the college and acquired class withdrawal forms, as well as obtaining information about Fond du Lac's social work program. I later approached Andy, and he refused to sign the withdrawal forms and told me that I should not quit and to pursue my dreams to become a nurse, but also telling me that social work was not meant for me. He also told me that nursing was my calling. I would not be here graduating the nursing program if Andy didn't encourage me to keep going, as well as to keep encouraging me to keep going on and to pursue my dreams. While he may not remember this encounter, it impacted me tremendously. I would also like to thank my mom, Della Ray, who told me that anatomy was the hardest part of nursing school. That was a lie. Congratulations, my fellow students, we made it. And to my fellow nursing majors, may our names only end up in articles for good publicity. Thank you.
I am honored to introduce our last student speaker of the evening, Janice Sherman. Some of you may have seen her on the front page of yesterday's Duluth News and Tribune, and for good reason. She has quite the success story. Janice has been a super active at the college and in the community, volunteering for various campus events and clothing drives. She is the secretary of Phi Theta Kappa, a member of the Human Services Club. She also volunteers at the VFW events, Ruby's Pantry, and Gamblers Anonymous. She's even served on her city council. At yesterday's graduate awards ceremony, Janice took home some meaningful college accolades and was recognized for awards for service to the college, community service, and academic excellence, which she earned with an overall GPA of 4.0. Not to mention, Janice was also chosen Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College's Student of the Year. Janice is graduating tonight with an Associate of Arts degree, an Associate of Appliance and Human Services, and a Chemical Dependency Certificate. Her immediate plans includes finishing her 880-hour internship and eventually pursuing a Bachelor of Science. Janice chose Fond du Lac because of its smaller size and community atmosphere. She came to the college in 2019 to meet with Human Services Program Coordinator Don Jarvinen. She wanted to discuss what she needed for classes to volunteer in a crisis shelter. 25 classes later, Janice is pretty sure she's qualified to do what she set out to do. Bonnie Bernhardtson, the college's bookstore coordinator, gave Janice the highest praise in her nomination. She was always giving of herself to different causes while working hard to get good grades. She exemplifies what a student of the year should be. In all honesty, I could go on and on about Janice and her endeavors, but it's time to listen to her speak. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to our final speaker, Janice Sherman.
Boy, I hope I can live up to that. Good evening, I'm Janice Sherman. So it's true, I walked through these doors in 2019. I had an appointment with Don Jarpinen. I did, I said I wanted to volunteer in a crisis shelter or something, and what do I need for classes? 2 hours later, I was making 15 to 17 credits. We were already 2 weeks into the semester. We went around and talked to all the instructors that I would have, and they agreed to take me in. And so it started. Let's go fast forward to 2020, spring break. We were told probably COVID, we might not be coming back to class. And I was home on spring break when I got the email saying we were going to distance learning. I stood in the middle of my living room. I ranted. I raved. I said I didn't sign up for this. I can't do this. What I know about tech, you could fit on the head of a pin. And about 2 minutes later, I said, okay, how am I going to do this? So I had a lot of help. Zoom turned out to be not that bad, actually. And considering most of the instructors, this was their first round with Zoom also. So I found the gem, Keith Sitch, the librarian. Keith would go on Zoom with me, share his screen with me. He taught me how to do the virtual library so I could finish any research. He taught me how to do PowerPoints, upload, download. Sometimes I wasn't quite sure where I was sending things because we couldn't find them. Taught me how to email photos, you know, whatever. He just truly was fantastic. Then there's IT. I can't say enough about IT. And the computer lab. I had a printer, couldn't figure out how to hook it up, so 2 or 3 times a week I'd come into town, and I was forever having problems with the computer, which I'm sure was me. But I would stop at IT, knock on the door, and they had this sticky note on the door that said knock. Brad would come to the door, he'd open it, and he'd look at me and go, what? And it was like, yeah, like that's going to scare me off. So anyway, then I'd use the lab, but everybody was so helpful. And I was, went into the fall of 2020, and I had COVID. So I was pretty sick for 2 weeks. I had a full class load then. I ended up withdrawing from statistics, and just went with the other classes. And on Zoom, it wasn't that bad, because if I was tired, I could go lay down. And they recorded Zoom, so I could always pick it up again. Spring of 21 was mostly online. I took 2 summer classes in 21 online. And do not listen to an advisor that says theater's easy. Summer is compressed, so I had 2 classes in 10 weeks, and I think I read 8 plays. So, and they know when you're cheating, by the way. If you don't read the whole play, the story doesn't turn out right. So then in 21 fall, I had 2 online, 2 in person, and now we're into spring and done. And I'm interning, and I took 2 classes this spring. Everything I have needed to succeed is right here. Everything available is available to you. It's an experience to go to college here. Immerse yourself in your education. in this community, because this college is a small community. Do service work. Volunteer here at the college or in the surrounding community. Work at the food shelf. Work at the Salvation Army. Do a Ruby's Pantry. Join a club. I joined PTK, as she said, and it's wonderful. It broadens your horizons. You go on to register for a lot of colleges. You get internships. They do a lot of service work. And it helps you keep the grade point average up. I have taken 25 classes since the fall of 2019. I have 25 A's. But I have the CAA to thank for 2 classes. The Center for Academic Achievement, I have used a tutor twice, aspects of biology and statistics. If you need help, ask. I give 100%, and in return, I got back 100%. In my counseling classes, I had cross-cultural training. Handouts, PDFs, which I read. I took Anishinaabe of Lake Superior, excellent class. I learned a little Ojibwe. It's a very difficult language. I am interning now as an addiction counselor. And I need to know the culture and traditions if I'm going to do treatment plans, if I'm going to work with other clients. I'm planning on going on into my bachelor's at St. Scholastica. That program is right here at a much slower pace. And I have to say, in the audience tonight is my nephew brought my very best friend of 41 years. She's my sister-in-law. And Patty was a 911 dispatcher. And I'm telling you, when I felt we were out for COVID, I was very isolated. I live alone. So she was my on the phone whenever. She said, call me. There are many nights I said, why am I doing this? I'm in my 60s. What am I thinking starting a new career? You know, I don't need to do this. And she would come back with, I'm so proud of you, Jan. You've wanted to do this since you were in your 40s. You always said you wanted to counsel. So this fall, last fall, in November, she stayed with me for a week. Well, I got up one morning. I get up about 5:30 and I make coffee. I took a cup back to bed. It was still dark and I thought she was still sleeping. And I heard this. You know, she said, it's true. I said, what do you mean? She said, it's true. You never do shut up. I said, what do you mean? She said, you talk in your sleep. I said, I do not. And she said, you woke me up with a loud, well, you know. And I went, oh yeah, that's me. So I figured I have chosen the perfect career. I'm a very active listener, I'm caring, and I get to talk. Better yet, I get paid for it. So thank you to FDLTC, all the faculty, all my fellow students, Bonnie, Keith, IT, the Center for Academic Achievement, all of the staff. Thank you.
back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living in the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living in the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Oh, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Oh, so is life what you are? So is life. Oh, so is life what you are? So is life. Water make the river, river wash the mountain. Fire make the sunlight, turn the world around. Water make the river, river wash the mountain. Fire makes the sunlight, turn the world around. Vortex of the river, fires of the mountain. Spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. Vortex of the river, fires of the mountain. Spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. From the mountain, living in the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living in the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Oh, so is life what you are. So is life. Oh, so is life what you are. So is life. So is life.
President Hammitt, on behalf of the faculty of Fond du Lac Tribal and Community College, I now nominate these candidates for their commencement to certificates, diplomas, and associate degrees.
I accept your nomination. This is the time you've been waiting for. Woo! You're welcome to come south. No shaking.
See.
Autumn Rose Ballinger, Associate of Arts. Bailey Jade Townsend, Associate of Arts. Darren Rose Mainville, Associate of Arts. Kelsey Warner, Associate of Applied Science, Early Childhood Development. Janice Virginia Sherman, Associate of Applied Science, Human Services, Associate of Arts, Chemical Dependency Certificate. Alicia Oswald, Associate of Applied Science, Criminal Justice, Associate of Arts. Winnie Marianne Benjamin Hall, Associate of Arts. Sierra Renee Rustum, Associate of Arts. Brandis D. Quaterer, Associate of Arts. Eliza Nancy Cassandra Savage, Associate of Arts. Kiera Katrina Defoe Tormanen, Associate of Arts. Cheyenne Lee Franta, Associate of Arts. Sierra Lynn Gibson, Associate of Arts. Ray Skip Sandman, Associate of Arts, Chemical Dependency Certificate. Haley Teresa Christensen, Associate of Arts, Associate of Applied Science, Human Services. Jessica Penn, Associate of Applied Science, Human Services, Associate of Arts. Christy Johnson, Associate of Applied Science, Human Services, Associate of Arts. Amanda Lynn Johnston, Associate of Applied Science, Human Services, Associate of Arts. Donald William Shikes, Jr., Associate of Applied Science, Human Services. Brittany Nelson, Associate of Science, Early Childhood Development, Associate of Arts. Naeem Gutica Cruz, Associate of Science, Anishinaabe and American Elementary Education, Associate of Arts. Shauna Marie Abed, Associate of Science, Anishinaabe and American Elementary Education, Early Childhood Development Diploma.
They had to write in ChemDep, but I have a certificate.
Miranda Pachenko, Associate of Arts, Chemical Dependency Certificate. Daphne J. Shabayash, Associate of Arts. Amanda Reynolds, Associate of Arts, Chemical Dependency Certificate. Aaliyah Anne-Marie Peterson, Associate of Arts. Corey Philip Kauma, Associate of Arts. Jesse Bayan, Associate of Arts. Katie LaTorrell, Associate of Science, Law Enforcement Skills Training Diploma.
Macy Ione Van Buskirk, Associate of Science, Law Enforcement Skills Training Diploma. Brianna M. Reynolds, Associate of Applied Science, Criminal Justice. Tricia Gottschalk, Associate of Applied Science, Criminal Justice. Brianna J. Reynolds, Associate of Applied Science, Criminal Justice, Associate of Arts. Alexandra Marie Isaacson, Associate of Applied Science, Criminal Justice. Bradley Thomas Hoder, Associate of Arts, Chemical Dependency Certificate. Luke S. Gould, Associate of Arts, Chemical Dependency Certificate. Sherry Lynn Houle, Associate of Applied Science, Human Services, Associate of Arts. Chandel Marie Friedman, Associate of Applied Science, Human Services, Chemical Dependency Certificate. Kaylin Forsberg, Associate of Applied Science, Human Services, Chemical Dependency Certificate. Amanda May Wilson, Associate of Applied Science, Human Services, Associate of Arts. Jessica Dixon, Associate of Applied Science, Human Services. Mercedes Kayanne Loney Adams, Associate of Applied Science, Human Services, Associate of Arts. Megan Christine King, Associate of Science, Nursing. Casey Anderson, Associate of Science, Nursing. Robin Lynn Conley, Associate of Science, Nursing. Ashley May Hagan, Associate of Science, Nursing. Kristen Lee Tobeck, Associate of Science, Nursing. Jordan Lee Sandel, Associate of Science, Nursing. Nicole Tyson, Associate of Science, Nursing. Brianna Gilbertson, Associate of Science, Nursing. Kayla Taya, Associate of Science, Nursing. Lydia Faith Gagnon, Associate of Science, Nursing. Sarah Ann Durfee, Associate of Science, Nursing. Kennedy Kibbett, Associate of Science, Nursing. Brandon Solier, Associate of Science, Law Enforcement Skills Training Diploma. Andrew Jordan Elmquist, Associate of Science, Law Enforcement Skills Training Diploma. Joshua Radasevich, Associate of Science, Law Enforcement Skills Training Diploma, Associate of Arts. Gwendolyn M. Pinson, Associate of Science, Nursing. Andrea Ray Corcola, Associate of Science, Nursing, Associate of Science, Health Services, Broadfield, Associate of Arts. Sheila H. Bellin, Associate of Science, Nursing.
Will the graduates please stand? By virtue of the powers vested in me and this faculty by the Board of Directors, I hereby confer on you individually the degree for which you have been recommended, with all the rights and privileges they hold. Please move your tassel to the appropriate side. The drum will now play an honor song in honor of the graduates, so please stay standing.
Hey!
you all for coming to celebrate the graduates tonight. Chi Miigwech to the Planning Committee for the ceremony, chaired by Erica Gello, the Honor Guard, the drum, both sets of singers, the choir and the Oshkii Gizhik Singers, to all of the speakers, and to the faculty, staff, and administration that played a part in this important night. Congratulations again, graduates. Gigawabaman.
Students go first.